as far as the draft goes. I'm joined by what you got as my co-caster here. He is not actually playing as well. That would definitely take talent and also well be cheating. But he will be sitting in place while they're waiting for the fifth. They figured let's get somebody sitting just so we can draft. Basically, we will have a remake though. So, but yeah, what you got? How's it going, man?
Breaky, I'm playing Mage Bane. Look, it's my hero right now.
You ready to go? Yeah, that's totally gonna happen.
It's going good as always.
Yeah. No, glad to have you here again. You're going to be playing in the second series here, but thought we'd have you join us for the first one at least. Always a pleasure. So, yeah. So hopefully, I believe their fifth is going to be ready here when this pretty much finishes. So, shouldn't be too much of a delay. But yeah, as you're pointing out, you have the Mage Bane draft on, well, in Hex's side over here. We got Midas and Meraxis as well on top of that. So, are they talking in the chat by chance, or is it just kind of quiet there?
Just a little bit, nothing
Okay.
really. Uh, yeah, they trusted me enough to play carry though. This is pretty nice.
Yeah, totally. Oh, you troll. You can't play carry. Yeah, right.
Only War Beast. It's probably
That's
the
true.
only one.
That's
The
true.
only one I'm allowed to play anyway.
Oh, they are right-clicking Warbeast over there. He isn't picked or banned yet, actually, so
Yep, that's
that's
true.
possibility here. And then, ooh, Dark Lady coming out with a third pick for WOP Dash over here. So we get the Mage Bay versus Dark Lady matchup. Feels like it's been a little bit
Very,
here.
very classic matchup. Has been breaking back onto the scene a little bit with, Mage Bane becoming a bit more popular once again, and Dark Lady did get a little bit of a revert to her charging strike, so not as big of a factor anymore. So thus we're seeing her pop on back, which is good to see.
It
I'm always
absolutely
a fan
is.
of Dark Lady.
Yeah. Now this matchup again, it is kind of interesting because Dark Lady with the Dark Blades, it's very strong against Mage Bane. Now, granted, Mage Bane with a Shrunken, of course, and then even eventually Geometer's Bane ideally has several ways to get out of the silence there, but that's the idea. At least, with the silence of those Dark Blades, not only the silence effect for that matter, but the extra burst damage. So, do you think one has an advantage over the other, or is it kind of just however the game plays out kind of deal?
I think it's a pretty even matchup. In the early stages of the game, Dark Lady is pretty strong, and then Mage Bane, as you pointed out, once he picks up a couple of those items, he has a way of dealing with the Dark Lady. But yeah, Dark Lady is more of a fighting carry once she picks up that shrunken head, and Mage Bane's more of that I want to split push you a lot,
Hmm.
try to get you to chase me around type of a carry. So they function a little bit differently, but they both farm uh, similar in terms of speed. So they're similar in that way, but also quite different.
Yeah. Yeah, both, of course, going to be going for that Rune Cleaver. At least I wouldn't expect anything different. And then we'll kind of see it take off from there. At least that's the idea. Now, whether that happens, obviously, will come down to execution. Both sides, building a nice cast around said carry. And Hex so far is definitely a little bit more aggressive. You got Wapdash over here, of course, Rhapsody as their main support, but throwing in Parasite there as well. So yeah, Hex, did Warbeast make it through? He did actually, but it would be a little greedy, you could argue. Already having the Mage Bane perhaps, but yeah, it looks like they are kind of going through some junglers in general now. Even the Lord South Force coming up here as a right click, so
hmm
probably going to be a jungle. You think South Force would actually make sense?
It would be a good way of dealing with Dark Lady once she picks up, if she does go for an Abyssal Skull. So once she once she goes into the team fight, the Undying will kind of cause her to play very cautiously. She'll still be taking damage even with the Shrunken Head on. So it could be potentially a good pick. However, it is a very passive jungler, and they already have a Mage Bane, so I don't know how well it will work out.
Okay.
Um, they're gonna go for it. They normally when you pick up a South Forest, you want to have a lot of lockdown, so that way he can do a lot of damage throughout the team fight. So far they have a Midas and a Meraxis, which is decent lockdown, but they will need that portal key picked up on the Meraxis before they can look to start getting really active. They do have the Mage Bane as well, so pretty passive lineup overall
Hmm.
so far from Hex. We see a Lodestone pick. That's going to be pretty strong against the South Forest. Very immobile, uh, sort of utility carry. It's kind of a carry, more. It's kind of hard to classify him, but Lilith's very good at bringing down those tanky targets like Meraxes and Self Forest.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, so Force, I know we technically consider him kind of like in the lineup, like you would kind of consider this a dual core lineup here, but
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah. So Force, it's obviously
Depends how you build him.
yeah,
I tend to think of him as like a semi carry just because you build him, Shrunken Head, Sheepstick, those kind of items, but he's more of like a utility sort of semi carry kind of hero.
yeah. Well, he's going to be ran here by Hex, and then Moira even the final pick with that with the last pick, and of course there's that synergy as we always talk about with
Mage
her
Bane
and
Moira,
Mage Bane.
yeah.
Pretty strong right there. So, Bubble's going to be the final pick for WOP Dash, however. So WOP Dash actually went overall a pretty gank-heavy lineup surrounding that Parasite, the Lodestone and the Bubbles here. Buy time for Dark Lady, you could say. Probably going to be the goal here. So, all right, we got the finish of the drafts. We are going to have a remake here, of course, as mentioned, as you ready up on Mage Bane there.
I gotta buy a TP. I think we're fighting mid.
Oh, gosh.
See how this goes.
The mid-wars
Kongor
clash.
pit fight.
So, yeah, with the finish of the draft there, though, again, the Bubbles' final pick on the Hellborn side even. Is there an advantage for other... I mean, this kind of feels like just both teams picking overall pretty solid, and execution's going to be a big part of this one here.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to Dark Lady being up against the dual core of the Self Forest and Mage Bane. If she gets off to a good start, she is definitely one of those carries that can compete with a multi-core lineup, and they have a really good supporting cast around her. So, yeah, I think it's gonna come down to execution, as you pointed out.
Here come the TPs. Oh, will the remake happen in time, though? Oh, my graphics is actually wrong. This gives me time here to fix this as well. Okay, there we go. There.
Darn it. I wanted to get first blood
Almost.
on Mage Bane.
Your goal in life. The one chance you had to play Mage Bane.
Yeah.
And it all goes away. Oh, well.
Darn
right.
formless guy. He always gets to play it.
Greedy player over there. Okay, so they are remaking the lobby. So, yeah, I think their fifth actually should be here. Hopefully not going to be too much of a break here as we're joining back into it. But, all right, so we do got our drafts, though, underway. And, kind of thinking back, as we always like to start with drafts, is the laning phase and how that could shape up. Parasite's, again, one of those junglers where could possibly expect, but at the same time, I don't know if that lineup would be one to run in a aggressive pseudo-trial lane of sorts. Having
Yeah, they did pick up the bubbles, which tells me that they want to just send that solo mid, put the lodestone in the off lane, and just guarantee farm on their Dark Lady, which is the safest thing that they can do with the heroes they picked up on Wapdash's side. So I think we'll probably see Parasite in his own jungle this game, despite being up against the Self Forest, which is a little bit of a weaker jungler at the start. So yeah, the greediness of Hex in terms of the greedier jungler and the Mage Bane should work out in the beginning, as far as getting farm.
I noticed we're talking about Self Forest there a little bit, and the idea that, for one, it's a little bit of a passive jungle, which not a big surprise necessarily, but also talking about Dark Lady, getting an Abyssal Skull and how it could be good in that case, preventing the heal from that of sorts. But do you need to have an opponent that has some strong heal effect, or whether it be an item they're going to get, or just having a heal effect for Self Forest to actually be considered a good pick, or can he just be a fine pick without that counter aspect?
Well, I think he's gonna do okay in this game because he's against a solo core lineup. So his focus in this game is just to ult the Dark Lady and make her, feel afraid to man up in team fights, or she's gonna take a lot of damage with the Undying on her. So in this type of a lineup, when it's a single core on Wapdash's side, I think it's okay to pick the Self Forest. But I think you would much rather have him picked up in games where there's a hero like a Malikan or something that thrives on lifesteal, because then that's that much tougher for that hero to man up, as well as if there was a multi-core lineup, something like two semi-carries versus one hard carry, because he can only focus one of them, and then the other one obviously would be able to do whatever they want to in the team fight. So specifically against the solo core lineup, I think it'll be quite good, although it is sort of greedy in terms of being very passive with the Mage Bane as well.
Yeah. Okay, so again, they're running it here. King Nikke going to be the one playing it, of course, and yeah, they are all 5 ready to go. So as soon as the last ready up goes through, or a couple more it looks like. But anyways, going to be starting game number 1 here of this series, again, kicking off today. Look at the standings real quickly coming into not only today, but this matchup here. You take a look. We got these two teams specifically, WOP Dash and Polymorph. Down at the bottom over there, we got Polymorph 0-3-1, WOP Dash 0-1-2. So obviously, the start's not the greatest for either one of these teams. I mean, Polymorph having 3 ties, and then an 0-2 loss, of course, but 3 ties, not too shabby. Again, they play 8 matches in total, so they're kind of at that halfway mark here. They got some ground to pick up. WOP Dash, it is still early on as well. Again, they've only played 3 matches themselves, so pretty important matchup actually for both of these teams. Definitely could use a 2-0, either one of these guys right here. So looking forward to seeing if that happens.
And this is a matchup where I think there's no clear-cut team that's maybe better than the other. So I think either team could take a 2-0, or it could go in a 1-1.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see any result with these two teams going at it.
Yeah, definitely a pretty even matchup here, no doubt. Again, these two teams that kind of bounced back and forth between the gold and diamond division of sorts. And oh, look at that, SBT tryouts are live as I go on D&D
nice.
now. Shout out to the SBT over there. Always looking for some good players to help test the future of Han. Always fun times. All right, so top lane, they're going to run into Rhapsody here, but she is going to be a little bit too far away and make her escape there. So good job, though, by the Legion team. Boxing around, going to put some wards down, really blocking the pole camp as well as the hard camp on the left here. And it is going to be just the Suicide Midas staying up here, being played by Zanuki, of course. Oh, is the rev forward? Oh, it's just out of range, actually. Good placement of the ward aside. I think that really did throw off Rhapsody with how far they pushed up. She figured it would be over here. And, well, she's wrong, so. Going to be blocked initially.
Yep, they double rev ward at this hard camp, so rev ward's going to be dropped to go to Rhapsody, but once they do realize this is blocked, they'll get at least one of the counters and then probably suspect it's unblocked, and then unfortunately it will still be blocked. So apparently they'll have to deal with that for at least 2 minutes, which isn't too big of a deal, but will slow down his farm a little bit.
Huh. You see bottom lane down here, Cookies on the lodestone. He's having fun pulling the creep wave over here. Had a little bit of trouble with South Forest and Moira, but eventually he makes his way through. And is going to pull all the way to the lane, so well played by him there. Moira even still in pursuit. Really wants to apply as much pressure as possible, but again, in the end, looks like he, of course, is going to be fine. Whoa, Midas getting a little low as Rhapsody putting a lot of pressure into him. Back to the top lane up here, so. A lot of pressures from both team supports coming out. You see Magebane doing the pull of his own, though, to react to what Lodestone was doing, of course. So, seems like it's just so routine now. I remember for the longest time this idea of pulling the creep wave, especially, was never a thing, and it was I want to say like season 3 really is until we started seeing it. Has kind of become the norm. I mean, if you just like kind of look back at like the adaptation and the history of the Han meta and how it's changed and developed, and I mean, it's definitely come a long way. This again, the idea of the polling especially is one of the more recent ones that hasn't been happening for the longest time, I guess is what I'm getting at. So
yeah, and then that eventually led into people realizing like picking up second supports and jungle pulling with them, because that became a thing at some point in time. And people hadn't really thought of, not picking a jungler. Picking junglers was just so standard. And then going outside the box, picking up heroes. That could do more in the early game, but how do you get the levels on them was the biggest thing. So the innovation, as you're pointing out, nice to see.
Been fun to see developed here. So but you see Magebane again with the creep pull as Lodestone did his. So. Speaking of that, they're being very active with that. So how's the middle lane doing, though? This one's just pretty standard, a 1v1 matchup here. Moraxis 15-2. You got Bubbles currently 7-0, actually. So Mr. Trump's
doing really well.
Very well. Here in the middle. Is that expected? I wouldn't think so, right?
I didn't notice that there was any pooled regen or anything. I want to say there wasn't. so I don't think regen is an issue. Um, Perhaps Bubble's just not putting enough pressure onto Moraxis. He is a very tanky hero by nature, um, and does have that hatchet, so I would expect Bubbles to be doing a little bit better here. Having um, double his CS is, I think, a little out of the ordinary, but um, either way, it's a credit to Mr. Trumpster here, doing
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, definitely deserving credit. Looks like Chaos Master maybe lagging a little bit. Apparently going to be restarting his router here, so and shouldn't be too much of a break. I think it works out right away. This week, I don't know if you've had the time to play too much, but the new mastery system officially launched here in
Yeah, that's true.
Have you been grinding out any specific heroes, or have you tried it really out
I
yet? Or?
actually have. I've been playing a lot of Engineer,
Oh
and
yeah.
I know I just played it in the jungle. I think it was last weekend, but yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy playing the hero, so I kind of play it. You can play it support, you could play it in a lane like mid or whatever. You could play it uh, as I've tried jungle. So sometimes I just pick it and I play it wherever I feel like playing.
Hmm.
So just having fun with Engineer at the moment.
That's cool. I assume it's on a different account because I'm looking at your account and.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
really-
don't
Okay.
really team him on my main.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
you don't have to give us your name, your secret identity.
1800 for life. So
Is that okay?
well,
1800.
no, that's not the account name. That's
Oh.
I'm talking about the rating on my main.
Got you.
Uh,
Yeah, mine's not that great on my count. 1611 up in here. I'm in the 1600s. I like that.
Ricky,
Play,
every time I see you playing, you're always playing mid wars.
Yeah.
Gotta grind out that normal mode, man.
Scary and normal.
Show everybody the Ophelia that I know you can play.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we've actually it's been kind of fun in the office lately. We get constantly groups playing, and between a lot of it is mid wars for that reason though, because I mean a lot of people from the office like they don't necessarily play a lot of Han. The job doesn't mean they
Yeah.
just because they work for Heroes of Never the Frost doesn't mean they have to grind the game 24/7. So, but it's mid wars is again. It's that fun atmosphere of not having to worry
Yeah.
too much. But we've every now and then we go to the as we call it the big boys game, Forza Caldivar, and give it a run. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, the Pearl's the only hero I've actually been playing with the mastery so far. So
Pearl's
that's
fun.
great.
I like playing Pearl.
Yeah, fun support there. Pretty baller with her, so got to get those levels up. All right. So back to the game as we see though. We got again Chaos Master, despite whatever lag he may have been having, he's been doing very well. 19-1 creep farm. It's got to be near perfect. You got 19 and 10 Dark Lady. But the top lane as Nookie goes down, we're happen to catch that right. Well, really, as he died. Looks like Parasite coming in to assist there. Hoping to set up a Bloodlust. So big catch.
Yep. Minus goes down. It's a good start for WOP Dash. Getting that little extra gold onto their TDL. Bloodlust did go to Parasite, so despite having that one block camp, we'll get a little bit of recovery in his GPM. Now at about 285.
As a jungler there, like, so putting your shoes in the Parasite right there, is that something where would you really prioritize to maybe get the kill yourself, make sure that you secure that kill, or would you rather give it to the Dark Lady, like if you had the choice? Is there really ever a preference there?
I think you could argue it's good on either hero because in this case, Parasite is a really good hero to get Bloodlust on. He is a snowballer, and the faster you get the puzzle box level 3 and you take that tool to go into team fights, you do a lot of work the earlier you get it, is my point. And whenever I get a really early puzzle box 3 on Parasite, I always feel like I'm kind of unstoppable, and I'll do so much work in team fights. So I think you could argue for either case. If you give it to Dark Lady, she'll get the cleaver faster, which will snowball her farm. So it works both ways. It's I think either one is just fine.
Okay. See bottom down here, Lodestone. I was going to say maybe try to set up, but the more I think about it, no. He's not. He's just leeching experience right here at the bottom lane. Unless he gets some kind of support, which I don't even know what you can realistically get right now. Maybe a level 6 bubbles, but that's obviously not even the case now. And not going to be happening, at least just yet. So speaking of bubbles middle lane, though, there's a little bit of support here. You got Moria sitting in the illusion. He just used a Shell Surf, actually, so this is a pretty prime time. They're going to go for it. Mana Center comes out. Axes are going to miss, however, and Bubbles will just walk away in the end. Meanwhile, Lord Self-Force in the jungle. Oh, no, can he at least out of the neutrals? Wow, he's actually going to live in the end, even.
That Pestilence, though, I think saved him.
That's right, yeah, the explosion. Lodestone could not chase him down. And speaking of Lodestone being chased, uh-oh, he is going to get caught here. No transmute just yet, not even going to matter.
Trumpstick on the Moraxis goes down in the middle lane. They did use the Kelp Field, as well as had rotation from Parasite and Rhapsody, so a nice kill because Moraxis was having a very good time middle. Definitely an important kill for WOP Dash. But yeah, Self-Force did have boots as well, so the Pestilence, though, I think being the difference, but did have the boots where Lodestone didn't at the time, so able to buy the distance. Very close escape from King Nikki there.
Yeah, that could have been a very significant kill for sure, but the fact that Lord Self-Force escapes, overall decent for Hex there, but again, losing more access middle lane, slowing him a little bit. But the two carries, really, as expected, they're doing what they set out to do. You got both around 400 gold per minute or so, and well on their way towards working towards our Rune Cleaver. You see, the boot choices are a little bit different between the two, but I think it's a little, at the same time, normal for those specific specific heroes there even. Dark Lady, a little more of the Ghost Marchers were out compared to Steam Boots for Magebane, so not a surprise, as we see. Yeah, why are Ghost Marchers better on Dark Lady, do you think? Just because the gap closer more effective for her?
Well, she has a slow, and the longer she can stay on top of her target with Dark Blades, the more likely it is that she's going to be able to chase them down and kill them. If you have the Steam Boots, you're just that much slower, and it's harder to basically run down heroes. As well as you get the extra auto attack damage on top of once you pop your Dark Blades, you get base damage. Obviously, the punch daggers don't help your Dark Blades because it's not base damage, but the point being is it boosts your damage to where you can burst them down in the slow and the silence. Because when you think about it, Dark Lady is kind of like a burst carry. It's kind of weird to say that, but she does all of her damage in that window of her Dark Blades. She jumps on top of you, and it's kind of like burst damage in a way. Whereas if you compare her to a Magebane, Magebane has to sit there, auto you, drain your mana, and then mana rift you. So it's a lot longer of a process, whereas Dark Lady just kind of does all her damage outright.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Makes sense there. As bottom lane, Magebane going to chase down low. So nice job with the stun from Moira and the mana rift to secure that kill right there. So yeah, that's obviously some pretty good synergy. Moira applying the Shards of Harkon. Magebane blinks in, and not much Lodestone could have done at that time. So well played right there, and securing a solid kill coming out. You see Dark Lady, she's trying to take advantage as a top lane, pushing it, going on its Nookie now. And there we go. She gets some quick revenge for her side. So really, these carries, I mean, they're matching each other, eye for an eye here so far. Dark Lady right now actually slightly ahead of the Magebane when it comes to that GPM. So especially when carries two very, very hard carries here in a game going against one another, both doing very well, you know, it definitely starts to now really look at that supporting cast, the surrounding, and I mean, even that is, look at the GPM charts, it's actually a kind of a fairly even spread here for both sides.
Both mids and both junglers basically all around 300 GPM, and then the suicides and the supports kind of suffering, which tends to happen in a lot of games. Mid lane gank attempt, but not gonna come of anything. Self-Force has an Invis rune, but perhaps we'll either look to go top. Dark Lady going for another kill onto Midas. He has the boots, but not going to be able to buy enough distance this time.
I mean, that goes back to that idea of somewhat of a bursty carry. It's right there as an example. She's very cooldown based. It's a somewhat shorter cooldown, sure, but you know, activates those, and a lot of the extra damage is pushed out. It's like you're kind of comparing to the Magebane, not necessarily exactly the same. So Dark Lady really taking advantage of her kill potential, basically. at this point, and doing it very well. Moira, she's gonna, well, run into the wrong spot at the wrong time. Lodestone and Parasite happen to be there. That's an easy kill as a result. Top lane again, oh no. Midas, Snooki, I love you, buddy. You're probably dead though again. Yep, that's another kill. As there we go, Tassi will secure it. The kill secured indeed. So all 5 end up being up here, but yet another death for Midas. Well, that's not his best game here, unfortunately.
No, they're definitely making it a priority to bring him down. As you pointed out, bringing all 5, using the kelp field as well. So yeah, Dark Lady getting to that scary point, already reaching 470 gold per minute without the cleaver picked up just yet. He's gonna have it in about 600 to 700 gold. So in about 2 more minutes, gonna have a pretty early rune cleaver this game at this pace.
Yeah, if you're her, you think just following with an Abyssal Skull even makes sense, and you're talking about that item earlier, and then going from there.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dark Lady skip it and go straight into the Firebrand. I know Formless sometimes does that build. He doesn't always do it. Sometimes he'll go for the Abyssal Skull, so it depends from game to game, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dark Lady go straight into a Firebrand and just continue to pick up the stronger farming items.
Oh, another 2,100 gold saved up, so again, just about has a rune cleaver. Magebane, well, just behind her. 500 gold saved up, does have one of the broadswords, though, so he's, again, the timings are going to be very similar with that rune cleaver pickup as expected. I'm looking around at least for some stacks right now on the Hellborn side, and you got one camp right here that's stacked pretty well. Other than that, though, not
Smoke Parasite bottom lane, and we have level 6 on the Lodestone. Oh, gonna miss the rocket drill though. Good reactions from Magebane as well.
Yeah, very on top. I almost think he could argue might have been better saving the face hug attempt from Parasite, trying to get that instant, somewhat of an instant silence at least instead, but either way, probably was going to escape it in the end, so good job once again by Magebane there. Middle lane, it looks like Kelphill was actually used. I don't know if, I guess Bubbles was going for a kill onto maybe Midas, but diving a little too much, decided to fall back from it, so.
Self-Forest also was there, so did ulti, did put the Undying onto Bubbles.
Oh.
Speaking of Self-Forest, probably going to go down here, yeah. It's too much lockdown with the face hug and the staccatos.
Big kill onto him because he was kind of slowly developing. I mean, Forest, he usually actually takes out fairly well. At least that potential is there. So I guess with him only being 280 GPM and now that death here, not the greatest start for Lord Forest, but Morax's top lane. Again, Dark Lady just going in. Obviously gets some great assistance from Cookies there on Lodestone, but another kill at least assisted here for Dark Lady. She is 2-0-3, 530 gold per minute, just about as they push that top tower in as well. It does have the rune cleaver. Middle lane, Magebane though is again also doing a pretty good job of at least keeping it close as far as the carry race goes here in this game. In fact, trying to go for all the Rhapsody though, trying to save her Parasite right there. He ran out of range, however, ends up going down. Magebane blinking in further. You see the head smash on a Midas will secure a kill in return. But these wolf time taunts, man. Chaos Master on top of using that taunt. He wants a quad kill, actually. Oh, the shards are just out of range. And then I'll secure the getaway for Rhapsody. Meanwhile, back here, Moira's going to go down. And a double tap for Mbapingo. Man, these carries, they're just going off here.
Yeah, this is definitely what we could see happen once, or when you allow both a Magebane and a Dark Lady to free farm. I think it's a little bit surprising to see Magebane doing this well, you know, with just the red boots, actually just finishing the cleaver just now. But yeah, Dark Lady, as I pointed out, she can definitely fight and look for pickoffs earlier than Magebane with her skill set. So not surprising to see Dark Lady doing so well, but yeah, Magebane getting a hat trick there in the middle lane, definitely gonna keep the gap between him and Dark Lady at least somewhat close at the moment, so that's good for Hex.
Not that this is a bad thing for either team. It's actually over here in the jungle now near the Legion Observatory of Midas. He's running into a lot of trouble. Moira's going to come in to help, but can't get there in time. She doesn't have her level 6 yet, so could not assist with that, and she too is also going to fall. In fact, Pingu coming in to secure that kill yet again. So another couple of kills, and actually, a lot of focus on these carries, but again, the supporting cast, you can argue that's where they're that much more important because both are doing pretty well. Bubbles just got his portal key, and that's, of course, going to start really helping their cause. Lord South Forest, he went really far here. Ultimate to come up short. He is going to go down as a result. You can kind of tell now it's actually starting to pick up a bit overall for WOP Dash here, as they do gain a decent golden experience lead. And all starts with that Dark Lady, of course. So.
And triple stacked Ancients just got cleared.
Wow.
So Dark Lady with the Firebrand, so she did skip the Abyssal Skull, which I think is the right decision this game. And on top of that, has 1,500 gold saved up, 610 gold per minute. It's looking really, really scary now.
Yeah, this is not good news at all for Hex kind of moving forward here. I mean, the obvious one big positive is that Mage Bane, and 500 plus gold per minute, always good. And so at the same time, though, this is kind of where you could argue this is almost expected in a way, because going back to this logic of they're both very hard carries, but they are both a little bit different in how they carry. Dark Lady is a little bit more active, somewhat bursty as you're getting at. She can be involved earlier on in the game. Where Mage Bane, he needs a little bit more time, but that split push presence will prove to be very, very strong. So again, that kind of goes back to, you could almost suggest that this is expected. Doesn't mean that it's good by any means for Hex, obviously, but who, by the way, so Mage Bane, he ends up going to
Elder Parasite.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I guess his thought process is I need an early game item to help my team out to fight. We just picked up our Blink on Meraxis, and we're going to want to look to try to take some team fights. Otherwise, we're just going to fall victim to TDL killing basically the whole team, and I'm not going to be able to get involved because of not having my Shrunken, my Geometer's Bane, whatever. So I think that's his thought process right now. We'll have to look to see if Hex looks to take any fights. But yeah, it's definitely a different pickup, and if they do choose to just keep the game passive and have both Mage Bane and Dark Lady farming, then I don't think this Elder Parasite is the right item to go for.
No, it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. So it's kind of keep an eye out, obviously, these next, especially couple of minutes, although 5 minutes or so window here, and see what does maybe change as far as pace. But going that Elder Parasite, it's going to be one of those head-scratching moments. By the time the end of the game rolls around, depending on win or loss, you can kind of look back at that item pickup, and it most certainly is a different one, that's for sure. So.
And I love that Dark Lady decided to finish her Frostburn. A lot of the times, Dark Lady, when the games are very even, Dark Lady needs to pick up the Shrunken as fast as possible, so sometimes just sitting on the Firebrand, finishing a Shrunken head before upgrading into a Frostburn is very common. But here, where he's doing very well snowballing, above 600 gold per minute very early, I like that he has chosen to go the more aggressive route versus the more defensive with the Shrunken.
Now, you saw go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I would like to see him go for the Shrunken as his next pickup, though. That will basically allow him full freedom in team fights from Meraxis stuns, Moira, Disruption, as well as Midas and South Forest burst damage. So would like to see the Shrunken as his next item.
And actually, speaking of her, you got a couple teammates too. The Veiled Rod down here at the bottom. Good job by Hex, though. They're not falling for this, you could say. You got Lowstone kind of pushing up the bottom, but they probably figure that he's not alone. Moira, however, unfortunately not going to be the same. She actually put that Aura to sight right before that, but again, with the Veiled Rot, it was just way too late by the time she realized. So nice catch on her once again, and Dark Lady will continue to farm now in the middle lane here. I will say the Elder Parasite won an advantage that, again, it kind of does have in this case of he actually blinked into the Hellborn Ancients, which were stacked, and he activated the Elder Parasite and quickly dropped them, and then he just blinked out. And Dark Lady went over there maybe 5 seconds later, realized that they were dead, tried to find it, but obviously it was way too late. So, again, it's a decent tool for situations like that if you're trying to steal Ancients really quickly or quick farm. So.
Yeah, and earlier he used it on his own Ancients, so yeah, and it definitely helps him clear camps faster, but he would be able to clear them almost as fast with a Firebrand as well, so it's a little bit faster with the Elder Parasite, but Fireman overall, I think builds into better things for
Yeah.
Mage Bane.
Nice top push there by Bubbles and Parasite, it looks like, doing work. Parasite we haven't talked too much about, but he does have a level 2 puzzle box now, so level 3 just around the corner here for MJ95. Playing the Parasite, and of course will prove to be a very effective item to have. I think a question that well, pretty much all of us have now is where does Mage Bane go next? Obviously the other Parasite already throwing a loop a little bit.
Yeah.
Now what does he go for next? 2,900 gold saved up, so...
Well, he's gonna need a Shrunken at some point. Whether he's gonna go for Geos first is the question. Yeah, he needs both a Geos and a Shrunken this game due to playing against the Dark Lady and a Parasite. Parasite can face hug you through the Shrunken, so even if he gets the Shrunken off, could still be locked down by the face hug silence, so not able to blink, which is where he will need the Geometer's Bane to just to purge off the silence. That should be Parasite's focus in team fights, is to make sure to lock down Mage Bane. Because, as it is, he is the biggest threat right now.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the supporting cast. And same for the Legion side. They're going to want to focus most of their attention on the Dark Lady.
So yeah, getting that lockdown onto him.
Yeah, so he will need both a Geometer's Bane and a Shrunken this game. But he goes for a Dancing Blade.
Okay.
It's Chaos Master.
Yeah. So, I think we can sit here and say and agree that this is a very, very greedy build here by Mage
Very,
Bane.
very greedy.
Midas. Oh, wow. He's going to be chased down by the level 3 puzzle blocks. Good job there by MJ95 once again on the Parasite. But yeah, that's what this screams. I mean, this is a very all-in, very greedy build. It can win. It can come through with a victory, but holy crap.
He needs to evade three auto attacks from Dark Lady out of 4 hits. He needs to evade 75% of her autos, or having, 1200 HP won't matter.
Yeah.
Because he'll just get bursted down from spells, basically.
Man, seeing a farmed Mage Bane, and this is a farmed Mage Bane at 570 gold per minute.
570 is not too shabby. It's just he's a little overshadowed at the moment by Dark Lady's success at 670.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Again, this is going to be interesting because, the moment a gank or if I, in fact, speaking of that, look at this, it's a solo kill by Bubbles. Never mind, Parasite was there, so not a solo kill, but still, to be fair, whether he had a Shrunken or not there, maybe he could have lived, to be honest, but he doesn't, and it's kind of began now, so they at least push the middle lane and get a tower kill there, but Mage Bane, that's a sign right there. He is very fragile.
Ooh.
Very
Arcane
fragile.
Vortex misses on Dark Lady. That's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, they tried to get her in the jungle, didn't they? But coming up short.
Yeah.
She's going to run here. It does get hit by the Mana Sunder, but not a big deal. I'll just
Does go for the Shrunken, so Mbapingu gets my approval on his item build this game. Chaos Master, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's doing much more of the routine and almost expected, you could say, but there's a reason why certain builds are expected at the same time.
Yep.
Because, well, they work, and they're pretty good. So, Kongor is going to be a kill on top of this. That'll be a token for Dark Lady. Drops the hatchet right here. Not much that Hex can do. It looks like they're kind of heading over. Not really, though. They pretty much know, if anything, that it's not going to be defended. Let's just farm elsewhere. So, good job by WOP Dash on top of that. You see the ward res and everything around the pit. They made very certain that this was not going to be stolen or anything crazy happened. So the momentum continues to be well in favor of WOP Dash here. Again, only a 6,700 goal age, 6,900 experience. That Dark Lady middle lane. Undying's applied now, so it's going to be a dead Dark Lady here with a token, though. She will come back up. A bit was used, however, as you can see, and now the Legion team is in retreat because of that. Well, I mean, still kind of a victory there for Hex. Getting the token used right away.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate. Bubbles was bottom. Had he been mid, that Kelfield would be able to lock down Polymorph's side, so Dark Lady could come back in with that token and wreak havoc, but unfortunately he was bottom, so token does go down and not able to get anything in terms of hero kills out of it. So yeah, they're looking to push now without the token, which they might still get the tower because Parasite is taking it down very quickly. Yep, they're gonna get the tower.
Oh, they might get more out of this. Kelphield coming out. Frostful Skull activated by Lord's Howl Forest, but now here comes a more follow-up. Lord's Howl Forest, he's going to drop as a Shadow Storm connects. Over here, the Arcane Vortex, it catches Bubbles, I think. Yeah, actually Parasite as well. More so, he's trying to help him get away, but that ain't going to happen for Moira. So a couple of kills on top of the tower. No token, but they may even go further here. Again, a bit used, no buyback on South Forest. That's a huge deal as well. And they know Magebane's very fragile. In fact, he is pushing top lane. So, yeah, I don't think the Hellborn team's by any means very concerned right now as far as taking fights, of course. So,
yeah.
They're going to go into the base. More Axis. He'll try to stall them a little bit, but is that going to work out for him in the long run? Maybe not. More Axis being chased, and he will fall. Now, he does have a buyback. Magebane blinking in, who just got his wing bow, by the way. So he has a lot of damage potential. Elder Parasite activated. More Axis jumps in. Look at Magebane follow up. Dark Lady is going to go down. Rhapsody dead. Lodestone dead. And quick damage, as expected, really, from Hex there. So very good fight from Hex in the end. And they may even get one more out of this. It looks like they will on a Parasite, as the hat trick happens for Chaos Master. So again, that was an example where it kind of just so happened that having this very greedy build somewhat paid off for Magebane.
Okay, so imagine if they had token pushing high ground there.
Yeah.
Dark Lady would come back up. They would wipe the team fight. You'd have Shrunken Head back up eventually. It just goes to show you those little things, like losing the token middle, how big of an impact they actually have. A big buyback coming out from Meraxis, and the gold lead is now almost even, only 1700 for WOP Dash. Magebane is almost at the same GPM as Dark Lady, and the greedy build, he's kind of getting away with it at this point. So
it's like it almost hurts to see it working.
I scratch my head, but
yeah.
like how it goes back and forth to me is, the other thing.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's like it's almost a little painful because it's making us look bad in a sense, even though we still know that we're right. That's very greedy. But again, there's a reason why we're saying it's greedy and not just outright 100% awful. It can work. Exactly. It's just, yeah. I mean, we've kind of been over that point now. More of a fight taking place right here as Lord Cell Force is going to get picked, and Moira, she's also going to fall actually to the Rhapsody as support for chasing the other support down. So nice couple of kills, and buybacks or anything used right there actually by WOP Dash. So a little bit overextension from Hex there that time around, and WOP Dash fighting
They do
back
get
strong.
both the middle tier 2 and the bottom tier 2. So they get 2 towers, although they did lose 2 heroes. So overall, not too bad. They actually closed the gold gap to only 500 now. So in terms of gold, they do get a little bit of a gain, but they do lose in experience with the 2 heroes going down. Magebane gets to continue doing his thing, so not too bad.
Yeah, and speaking of that, 3,800 gold saved up. Now,
I'm not gonna guess.
I was just gonna say, like, what's the point?
It's Chaos Master. I already said it should be a Geos or a Shrunken. What he will actually go for is another question.
It's just absurd to me that, going up against a Dark Lady, especially, and then not having either one of those items yet, he is going to chase down Parasite right here with Midas, secure that kill. And obviously the Hellborn team not really close enough to react. Meanwhile, over here, the Lodestone, he has a Shatter Storm, but good job by Meraxis somewhat kiting him right there. Oh, Magebane blinks away, meanwhile, from a Kelphield. Again, he doesn't have that defensive mechanism, so if they caught him there, that could have definitely secured a kill, but he blinks in time. And he's going to be fine for now. So the Hellborn team WOP Dash. There's someone having to retreat here as well. No more Shrunken on Dark Lady on cooldown currently. And another case of, well, Hex kind of gets away with it, specifically Magebane, after getting in there initially. So it's somewhat, I mean, it's even golden experience now. So this game now 29 minutes in, who knows? It really is anyone's game. There's no more obvious momentum for either side. It's definitely going to come down to the execution from here on out.
Yeah, and Dark Lady purchased the Slayer, almost has enough gold to finish a Savage Mace to have that tool to deal with the Wingbow from Magebane. Parasite also picks up a Portal Key, so they're making a point that they want to be able to catch Magebane with their lockdown. So I think that's actually a pretty decent pickup, as long as they're able to catch Mage Bane. We didn't talk about it, but Bubbles has had a Storm Spirit for a very long time now. So that's a way of dealing with the burst damage from Self and Midas, as well as just Storm Spiriting Dark Lady if she does get initiated on by Moraxis, as well as the Mana Sunder or whatever. So yeah, I like that. Probably going to go for something like a Sheep since he is pulling a lot of gold, which would be quite good as well with the Portal Key to catch the Mage Bane.
It must be something here also on the Hellborn side, like, again, seeing the build of Mage Bane and knowing how, like, tempting he's making this to be able to catch him and kill him. Yet, again, other than the one time up here in the jungle where you happen to run into a couple, they haven't been able to, so... That still exists as he's sitting on 5,900 gold. But so, honestly, with the way he's built, like, I think he's going to go for, like, a Genjiro here. Like, he's just going to right-click
I was going to say maybe Genjiro or Heart, like one of those two, just because it's different, and I wouldn't be surprised, but...
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I said what I think he should go, so... Okay.
Wow.
Well, it's not a Genjiro or a Heart, or a Geos, or a Shrunken. It's a Symbol of Rage.
Wow.
So it has even more lifesteal.
Wow. The one item we happen to just not say, and it's just like...
I think I named all of the, like, 6,000 gold items that he could buy.
Yeah.
Except for that one.
Yeah, I think we did. All right, so as you mentioned, now he has double lifesteal in a sense with the other Parasite activated as well. So, I mean, again, surviving now, it's a different kind of survival because of how we build. It's not the Shrunken, it's not the Geometer's Bane, it's not the removable debuffs. It's more of the... I'm just going to be able to outlast you survival.
Just going to sit there and right-click you.
So, at least he's got a bit more now, and that's obviously just thanks to the game still going on plenty, and he's still been able to farm plenty. But Dark Lady does actually remain on top despite this greedy and very aggressive right-click build of Mage Bane. Dark Lady had 700 gold per minute now because, her items too, as they find Bubbles, by the way. Quick kill onto him. Got him out of position, so good catch there. Probably not going to push too much off of this. Just going to see what they can do. But oh, Dark Lady. No, don't catch South Forest at least. Look at that South Forest melt.
It's
Jeez.
like whoever runs into either carry dies in like 3 hits because of how far both of them are. Bubbles, a hero that's very good at escaping, went down so quickly. And we saw there South Forest, a very tanky hero, almost 2,000 HP, just gets bursted down by Dark Lady in a matter of 2 seconds. Morax is going to be the same story for him. Yep. Very tanky target, goes down really quickly.
Mage Bane, I do not know about this. Okay, pops a similar range. There we go, though, with the Arcane Vortex. Protected Melody coming out. Oh, got pushed, actually. That was a misplay from Rhapsody, but the lock isn't enough. Yes, it is. Down goes Chaos Master. And now you see the opening coming out for WOP Dash. No buyback, by the way, on Mage Bane, making it that much more significant. And can they really capitalize off of this? It looks like they're going to just look to push mid. However, Dark Lady gets caught here, though. Midas and Morax trying to go for a big kill. Nice Tour Spirit at the last second. Can't chance she escape from this. No, she cannot. But they pick up the Genocide in the process. So it's almost like, well, okay, not that big of a deal that Dark Lady died there, I guess. So.
Well, that's a pretty big deal.
I guess it is at the same time, yeah.
They can't look to push high ground. They do have South Forest up, more respawning shortly, but that would be a dead Rax with all 5, and he actually buys back, so they want to force.
Is he going to get here in time? Okay, yeah, he's already here, so no post haste. I was wondering if he's going to be able to make it here at a respectable time, and he sure enough is. You see there, here comes that push. Now they definitely want the Rax. Of course, Rhapsody, she's basically dead. They Storm Spirit to survive a little bit longer, but that won't really do it, so she goes down. However, the Rax will fall, as we see here in the middle. Mage Bane still another 10 seconds. Dark Lady going to at least try to push the top tower in. Should be able to get that. Probably going to fall back once they get this top tower here, if they even get it, actually. Oh, she's going back in. Very greedy play there by Mapingu. He's going to have to pop the Shrunken and just completely run now. Yeah, this is scary all of a sudden for WOP Dash. If they lose Dark Lady again, that's going to be really tragic. But, oh, look it up here. Post haste. Look at this with the invis as well. There's a sheep stick. And there's a dead Dark Lady, so they do end up with a catch. So even though they got them here, they actually remember that was a buyback Dark Lady. And she does have a second, but it would be her final one here.
Yeah, and this is where it could get a little interesting because, you know, they could push their axe here, and Dark Lady would have to use her final buyback in order for them to defend this. So, Magebane still has both of his. Doesn't have. I think if he were to die here, he wouldn't have both for a buyback. But the point being, if they do force out that second buyback from Dark Lady, Shatterstorm gonna go out. They're gonna fight.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, at the same time, Magebane not here. He's doing Kongor in the meantime. So, sure, they get the kill on a Midas, but Magebane just trying to secure this Kongor kill. So, yeah, no buyback on Dark Lady is going to be necessary. And at least we'll be able to save that second one here. But this should be a token pending a steal. Oh, Parasite.
Almost might go for the steal.
Oh, man.
It's going to be very close. He has the
Time,
portal key.
get it! The Storm Spirit! Did somebody pick it up? I think it's on the ground. I don't know who has it. Oh, Parasite got it, actually. Protect him out, able to save him. And Magebane dropping low now. Magebane, the Similar Rage, it is going to be barely enough lifesteal, but they will be able to chase him down and secure the kill. What a steal. This game, it's just constant back and forth here with WOP Dash and Hex. And sure, it's a mix of just some entertaining play, we'll call it, but, well, it's entertaining in the end. That's what matters. So double tap for Trumpsta, actually. On the Miraculous, let's make it a hat trick.
Gets it with the axes.
All right, well, and then that's how it all ends somehow. So, this game, man, it's just one of these somewhat comedic games, but again, entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, it was a beautiful Storm Spirit from Bubbles. Throwing Magebane in the air, keeping token on the ground. Two people come in to try to steal the token. Miraxis comes in with a Quake Stun, stalls everybody, so it's just sitting there for like 2.5 seconds, and eventually Parasite gets it. I don't know, I think Magebane actually might have had a split second to pick it up, but Parasite just a little bit faster with the fingers there.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I always refer to, somebody who played some Diablo 2 perhaps, and knows how to right-click that loot quickly, so. Yeah, he happened to get in. Obviously, Parasite not the most ideal token character, but at that point, you're not caring or thinking about that remotely. You're just worried about making the steal happen, and that was successful. So, yeah, this is just going to continue to be a case of let's not even guess how this game's going to turn out. Let's just continue to enjoy it for what it is. A portal key on Moira here, by the way. So her items are just like funny, almost a Mark of the Novice Striders and a portal key on top of that.
Something we would maybe see on a Bihi at like 15 minutes because he wants to rush the portal key in the off lane and then just trying to get his chalice after the PK. But yeah, it's been a struggle game for Moira 0-7 doing the ward thing. So
yep,
I've got a bunch of empty inventory slots.
Always a bad feeling, but making do with what she has. I mean, at the same time, there are others around here, South Forest, Moraxis, and Midas are all doing just solid. They're all definitely having a very consistently solid game here in that 350 to 375 range as far as gold per minute goes. So, not too shabby here.
To point out, Midas, for as bad of a game as he was having in the very beginning, having those 9 deaths, he's almost 400 gold per minute. So that's quite impressive.
Wow.
To be doing that well. We saw the Sheepstick top lane picking off Dark Lady with the post days coming into play. So, if they didn't have that Sheepstick, if Midas wasn't doing as well as he is, they wouldn't have gotten that pick off.
Oh, speaking of pickoffs, not Midas, but Moira, no chance there. Parasite, however, now again, he has a token. There's a minute 50 remaining
Dark
on
Lady,
it.
They're going to fight this.
Oh, wow, they definitely are. Shadowstorm going in. Nice Storm Spear will be in. No, it won't be in time, actually. He comes out right as it explodes, and that's a dead Moraxis off the bat, who does not have a buyback. Lord South Forest, the same story there.
Wow,
that double damage Dark Lady. As you mentioned, so much damage. Protective Melody will help save what is a cluster here. As Magebane blinked in with a similar range, it just doesn't matter. No, he didn't even activate it, actually. He buys back, by the way, for his first buyback, but is it going to be in time and enough is the question. It doesn't look like it. The Hellborn team already somewhat retreating away. He does going back here, trying to maybe get this kill on Dark Lady, but that double damage is still up, in fact, and Magebane will fall despite the symbol this time. Just not enough. Now, they do kill Dark Lady, as Midas, however, kind of cleaning up a little bit, but he gets finished by Parasite. And now Parasite going to continue to somewhat put the pressure on. Another cluster of a fight, but we do have the biggest lead here for WOP Dash now. in what is game number 1 here. And who's porting back in? That would be
In
Loso.
both fights, Magebane got locked down by Staccato Stud and couldn't get the auto attacks off.
Yeah.
So his build is essentially, I don't want to call it useless, but okay, initiation sheepstick onto Rhapsody.
Yeah, they can't even finish her, though. You see, they just don't have enough of the follow-up damage, and now Moira, obviously, again, another case of she's dead. Might as well distract them as long as possible. But yeah, it's like not to really continue to push it in, but I mean, it was obvious. So
Yeah.
a little bit earlier on, this greedy build was somewhat maybe working. Now we've seen this game really come, full circle in a sense of where, okay, the greed is really showing why. Well, it's a greedy choice here to have gone. So another Rax and WOP Dash. Sure, they may lose Lodestone, but they by all means got what they came for here. And they are finally in a spot of, okay, I feel comfortable about one team being in a winning spot here now.
Yeah.
That's WOP Dash.
Yeah, without a shrunken head in team fights, Magebane unfortunately isn't doing a whole lot.
Yeah, that mobility lacking, and it really is something too, because again, that's what we're looking forward to, is kind of seeing this competition come down to the Magebane strength is that split push power.
Right.
Not having a Geometer's Bane, though, that split push identity is so much less without the Geometer's Bane on top of what else it does.
And the early Wingbow, you can argue, is just as good as having a Geometer's Bane for pushing, because you get the attack speed, the evasion, but yeah, without a shrunken head, you just can't team fight.
Yeah, he kind of just went kind of a hybrid almost, you could say. He kind of went like somewhat split push with the Wingbow, somewhat team fight with the Symbol, but none of the items that really prevent the obvious lockdown of the Geos or the Shrunken, as we've constantly gone back to. But, I mean, the game is still moving on, and obviously they still feel like there's at least a shot here, which there is. There definitely is, but it's obviously an uphill battle now. Much of one for Hex here. And Dark Lady, what did she buy by? Okay, the Assassin Shroud here. She had all that gold saved up. Gets the Assassins for now. Extra mobility for her. Middle lane, perhaps an engagement. Dark Lady, yep, she's going to follow it up, going to the minus right away. Lord's Out Force dropping Half-Life here. Arcane Vortex will stall as it usually does. Coming out, though, quick couple of kills on the two that were caught. Meanwhile, everyone's still alive here on WOP Dash. A third dead on the Legion side of Moira, and now Moraxis, well, they say GG before he will go down there. So it will be GG well played in a Game 1 victory for WOP Dash here over Hex. But yeah, I think we kind of talked about what maybe the ultimate reason could have been, but at the same time, WOP Dash played it pretty impressive and well themselves. That token steal, actually, that ended up being a very big deal.
Yeah, it was a very big deal. Yep, not being able to either force the second Dark Lady buyback or get the token for themselves. Definitely, I don't want to say swung the game in their favor, but kind of almost sealed the deal, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we got WOP Dash here, up 1-0 here in this 2-game series. Again, we'll see if Hex can yet again try for another tie right here. A lot of these split series, they've had 3 coming into this matchup, but WOP Dash looking for that 2-0 and the bonus point, and to continue or to now recover from a little bit of a slow start here in the standings so far. Point is, we got Game 2 coming up with a 1-0 lead for WOP Dash here for the Deadeye Bounty League Season number 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back here on Honcast Game 2.